Hello and welcome to Eco Girl in a Modern World. My name is Shelley and my channel is dedicated to talking about ways to be more environmentally friendly in a modern context. And I promised you that this week we were going to do something kind of fun. And I was originally going to make this about fashion, and believe it or not, I've seen a lot of other good videos. A lot of the content creators have been putting out, kind of beginning of summer. So I decided to do something sort of in that vein, but a little different. I decided to talk about
Environmentally friendly party theme ideas. And I decided to go with this theme actually from some personal inspiration. As we're going into the summer, there's a lot of premieres of there's going to be a lot of watch parties for TV shows and probably movies, or you're gonna the summer is starting, so you might be throwing themed parties, and then of course as we get to the midsummer. Well, if you're in the United States, we'll be celebrating the 4th of July and so forth. So these were just, I thought we might as well go over a few pointers on how to be green when you're doing that. And we'll go ahead and jump right in. Now, the first thing that, the first kind of pitfall of throwing a party is that you tend to have a lot of disposable stuff, right? The moment you have a theme to anything, that's when that's when you can really get into the non-green zone, with a lot of, plastic utensils, plastic plates, disposable, or one-time use cups. And if you watch this channel, we talk about that all the time. The biggest pitfall that you want to avoid is just using something once to throw it away, or buying something because it was because it fit a one-time need, and then not having a purpose after that after that theme is over, right? So when you see I've done videos about Barbiecore and things like that, and just the dangers of you painting everything pink just for one time and then never not having a need for it afterwards. So the reason I got kind of inspired by this is actually, I've never been a big fan of this show before, but I did start watching Bridgerton, and the Netflix kind of Regency, kind of like Grey's Anatomy meets Jane Austen. And I was really intrigued by season 3, and I was really excited to, kind of, what it was is Netflix broke it into 2 parts to, season 3 part 1, season 3 part 2. So it was kind of like double the excitement, because one part came out in the middle of May and then the next part came out in the middle of June. And so a lot of hype could be, put up around it. So of course you saw a lot of people hosting watch parties, right? And especially when it's been a while since you've seen your favorite show, and you want to get back into it, right? So so we'll start there. If, say for instance, so a few of the rules that you want to follow is, one of the rules that you want to follow is try not to do plastic utensils or disposable cups. One use anything, whether that's silverware or cups, that causes a lot of waste. Even if the cups are recyclable, we talk a lot on this channel, recycling's really kind of a farce. A lot of things can only be recycled about 1 to 8 times, if at all. And sometimes those cheap plastic cups that you can find at Target, at Walmart, they might be 50 cents each. Those tend to be the harder types of plastics that are really not recyclable. So we really don't want to use them. But a few ideas, and I've really saw this with and to use Bridgerton as an example, is you could use teacups, right? So I saw people
use teacups. One big theme is really nice glassware. Because when you think about it, if you have nice, if you have glassware that gets packed away for special occasions, I mean, this is a special occasion, right? Go ahead and pull it out. Let's actually don't just keep it behind glass to be looked at, as like a decoration, collecting dust. Why not actually have a set of glassware that you use for, for these type of parties? And what you can do is you can find the type of glassware that's kind of durable. Either that, or if you do decide to go with the hard plastic, that you go with kind of a style that's kind of multi-use, like not so in one theme that you can't use it again for the next party, right? So I saw with Bridgerton, I saw that you can use teacups. One beautiful thing that I've always seen is there's something called cranberry glass, and I know somebody who collects this. It's typically more of a Christmas kind of themed thing, but it looks really lovely, and it does almost look tea set-esque, and you can kind of find it. And again, I went to a thrift store recently. You can find this at thrift stores very, very easily. Beautiful tea sets for the same price that you would probably pay for the the cheap cups at the grocery, at the box stores, right? So, teacups and things like that. The other thing is you can always do more recyclable type of decorations. You could actually use, like in the example of Bridgerton, you can use real flowers. That's always a nice thing. If you have a garden, you can kind of, bring in, maybe put in a nice vase some of your cut flowers. Or, right now we're at the start of summer, you could go to a farm, you can go to your local grocery store and get some, bouquets of flowers. That's beautiful. I've noticed in Bridgerton, they have a theme around hanging wisteria, or I think it's wisteria. I don't think it's hydrangea. But and wisteria always smells so beautiful too. But you could even take paper and needle and thread and make kind of make your own decorations. That would be kind of a fun activity. I actually one thing that I kind of did is I reused something that I had from a long time ago. Back in 2018 with the royal wedding, I had a Friday themed party at work it was called Top Hats and Tiaras. So I actually had a tiara
from that long ago, from 6 years ago. And, of course, once is not enough. I pulled out the tiara, and I actually wore a brocade skirt that I had bought secondhand. That was gold, and it looked very beautiful. Also feathers. I mean, the theme in Bridgerton was feathers, both with the, presentation to the Queen. The other thing is you can, I've noticed that when you're doing a theme of something, you can really let the food take center stage. That's the other thing. You don't need a whole lot of decorations or plastic knickknacks. You can actually have the food be more of the decoration. And I've noticed that, like with Bridgerton, I noticed that, a big theme of it is writing, with Lady Whistledown. So you could either, print up little, pamphlets to use as place settings, or one thing that I noticed was with the food theme, because letters are such a big theme in Bridgerton, I actually saw little letter cookies. I thought that was great, because when you think about it, sugar cookies, you can just roll out cookie dough and cut them into any shapes that you want, right? And and that could be a fun frosting project, especially if you have little ones who are just getting out of school for summer. This would be a great project to let them be creative and help you by cutting out the themes. So I saw letter cookies. I did see the other thing that you can do is if you don't feel like you're real skilled at cutting out cookies or frosting cookies, you could check with your local bakery. I saw some more mainstream cookies, like sold by like a bakery actually in London, which would probably not
not be ideal. Mailing cookies over the pond would be a lot of carbon. But if you just have a local bakery, you could ask them about that. Like, hey, would you be able to do this kind of theme? And I noticed this bakery was so cute. They actually had Queen Charlotte's hair. They had a feather. They had the carriage. They had so I just thought that was really cute, and that's something that you can absolutely do with any theme. In the vein of food, I noticed one other TV show that's coming back out is the House of the Dragon, season 2. I saw a really cool picture of a dragon's egg cake. So, if you're talented with frosting, all it is an oblong, rounded cake, and if you could, get the piping, that's you can kind of create your own frosting. And honestly, you could do that with kind of a flat knife too. I don't think you need a whole lot of equipment or a lot of frosting bags to do this. There's creative ways that you can do it with just like a knife or a fork, or maybe even a butter knife. You could kind of make the shapes of the scales. I thought that was a really neat idea. I also saw cupcakes, and again, with cupcakes, you can cut shapes out of paper, tape it to a toothpick and put it inside so you can have little dragon cupcakes. Or again, if you could cut out shapes using making frosting cookies. I think that's a great idea. The other thing is that you can really play with the drinks too. I know that you see this more kind of around Halloween, but you can really make some fun mocktails, out of stuff. I feel like, taking some ginger ale, putting some tart cherry juice. I saw a lot of Bridgerton themed that. One of the themes in Bridgerton, there's a line in season 2 that's like where Francesca was brought lemonade, and she did, by a potential suitor, and she didn't drink it, and then Queen Charlotte,
it's like, she is not drinking the lemonade, why isn't she drinking the lemonade? So you could absolutely have like an inside joke for your TV show and have lemonade, for Bridgerton, or you could have like red drinks for House of the Dragon, looks like dragon's blood or something like that. And you can make it fizzy. You could kind of, look up different recipes for really fun drinks, and that's really fun. I saw a great article that talked about having watching in every Disney movie. There's different themes. Like if you're watching a Goofy movie, you could have a can of
string cheese, the artificial cheese spread, and crackers, and like in Inside Out, so basically all the food that you see, there are different themes in every single movie that you could absolutely have. Like, you could do that if you wanted to. I know but there's a great channel here on YouTube where the content creator watches, it's like her reaction to watching a movie for the first time, and she did a whole week of watching of nothing but Robin Hood movies. So you could absolutely do little, you could make it fun. Summer's about having fun, right? In the vein of, just like you can find cups, that cranberry glass can be absolutely used for the 4th of July. Basically, if it's just red, white, and blue and stars, you can really stick to that without having to buy a bunch of dollar store stuff. It's really not necessary. You can make more recyclable things, and it can be a really kind of fun craft project. You can really use your imagination with it. One thing that I've noticed is, in addition, in addition to try to have a set of cups that you actually use, and that's really nice, because I've been to parties where they had reusable cups, and all they did is the person had a separate little plastic, tub of where you put your cup when you're done. So it's like a little collection bin, or you put it in the sink. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I just feel like that's so much more green than, having a bunch of, red plastic cups that aren't really recyclable. But in that same vein, you could have a set of silverware. It's not too expensive to get a second set of silverware that you use specifically for parties, right? And most people are aware of if it's stainless steel, you're not going to throw that in the trash, right? You just make it clear where people put it after they're done.
The other thing is that it doesn't have to look real tacky. You can absolutely make it look really tasteful with a lot of different kind of upcycled things. Instead of using disposable napkins, because again, you see a lot of those themed napkins, like, and I saw this a lot with the Bridgerton. I wasn't real sold on it, these party packs, which had the themed napkins. We use a lot of paper, and we don't need to be using wood for, themed napkins. But a lot of the eco channels I watch here on YouTube talk about upcycling. Like if you have an old towel that's starting to get a little tattered, you can cut that up and turn that into something else. You can turn that into cleaning rags, or if it's still in really, really good condition, you can turn it into paper towels, reusable paper towels and napkins. There's these kind of wooden dowels that you can just wrap your reusable paper towels. And again, just like with having a bin for the collection of the used, you can put a little, I have just a little bucket that I drop my used paper towels in, or not, my reusable washcloths and stuff. I just drop them in there and wash them. So, you can reuse, you can create your own reusable paper towels, but in particularly for napkins, you can upcycle t-shirts. T-shirts really make a really good napkins, and you don't necessarily, depending on your theme, how casual. If you have more of a casual theme, like 4th of July, having some, blue, cutting up blue t-shirts, and just, you probably don't even have to hem the edges. Raw edges would probably not look the worst. That looks really kind of cool. And speaking of upcycling, and if you're using old t-shirts or old towels as cloth napkins, you may need napkin rings for it. And this was something that I thought of because I am a craftsy person. I like to scrapbook. But what I do is I don't use, in crafting, there's a lot of these tape dispensers that have a lot of plastic in them, and the cartridge isn't really recyclable. So what I like to use is I have a tape dispenser for double-sided tape, and I just I like these because the refills come in a box, so of course the box is recyclable. And then this is the tape. Once I've used the tape, the inside ring, you see that, and I'll put up a picture. These are hard plastic, but I do recycle them. I reached out to 3M to ask if they have a recycling program. I thought that they had one through TerraCycle at one point, but they said that they don't recycle them. But you can take it to your recycle and put it in the bin for hard plastic. But one thing I noticed is that these rings make perfect napkin holders, like the rings.
Napkin rings. And if if it were 4th of July themed, you can use cranberry glasses, upcycled navy blue t-shirt napkins, and then these are white rings, so you've got red, white, and blue. And I just think it looks neat. I think that you can really use your imagination. The other thing is, if you want it to be more Bridgerton-esque, you can take a ribbon that you have and wrap it around the ring so it looks like, and then tie it in a bow, and that makes it pretty. And then you can just take the ribbon off later, and there's just lots of little things. If you look at what would normally be deemed trash in a new way, it can really be used for a lot of crafts. And I just think just kind of use really look at themes for ice cream. I saw like a ice cream shop
that was making cicada sundaes. I know, this is a thing, right? Cicada sundaes, and they were very popular, and all it was is like 3 scoops of ice cream with little
waffle cone wings and then red M&M eyes. I thought that was so creative. So you could do something like that if you know, and it is a cicada year. Or I saw also in the Bridgerton theme in the show, they have a tea shop that also has an ice cream parlor. And yes, ice cream existed in 1813. And I think it was like a peach flavor. So you could do something kind of fancy like that, you know, maybe, you know, kind of, and those, and again, those glass dishes, those little ice cream dishes, very easy to thrift. You can find that at a thrift store. Just put it through your dishwasher. It's glass. It's great, right? You know, and worst case scenario, if you really don't use them after you're done, you could donate them back to the thrift store. I mean, just, you know, keep it in the cycle, you know, keep it in the circle of things. But I just think, you know, with all of this coming up, you know, whether it's birthdays, you know, there's just so much that you can find or reuse or repurpose without creating a whole lot of trash. And so I encourage you, please let me know if you have done this, if you had some kind of themed party that you that you either attended and really thought you saw some good eco ideas, you know, or if you if you have any suggestions, anything that you've done that you think would be a good idea, please feel free to leave it as a comment in the description, you know, as a comment down below. Also, if you like the content you see here, I would be very honored if you would like, comment, or subscribe. And we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.